Hello and welcome to Illuminations with Tiina and Fee. I'm Tiina, and today we've come to our guest episode in our series on anxiety, worry and stress. And with me today I have got Dan Bianconi. Hi Dan.
Hey Tiina, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Dan, it's really lovely to have you here, and Fee and I are both very grateful that you agreed to do this episode with us.
Okay.
Would you like to just briefly introduce yourself to our audience so that they know a little bit about you before we kind of kick off?
Certainly. Okay. Well, as far as profession, I'm a part-time wine sales person. I sell English wine. The rest of the week I garden. I'm very, very familiar with the feelings, as we normally describe, around anxiety and worry. It's been a constant, and I have developed, I'm developing tools to manage those things, but they're still very much a real part of my life.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you for that. Yes, I think that's a conversation for another time, I know, but yeah, English wine, that's quite interesting. I look forward to tasting that one day. I never have. But yes, so you've already introduced yourself as a person who experiences anxiety.
Sure. Absolutely.
Can I just dive straight in and just ask you a little bit about what anxiety is like for you, how you experience it?
Yes. How do I experience it? Well, there's physical feelings. That, I get tightness in my shoulders. It varies. It moves around, which is quite funny, actually. If you pay attention to it, sometimes it will actually move on you. Lower back. I get shortness of breath, so I get shallow breathing, which is very typical. Sweating. You can actually, if in a time of real stress, I actually get a different smelling sweat, which is what I would call stress sweat. So I think your body's creating different chemicals in that time, in a period of stress. I get like a fuzzy feeling in my head. And okay, so they're some of the physical attributes. I find myself rushing and not being very mindful of what I'm doing physically, so I'm more likely to trip over things, and so it has an impact on how I work physically. And from a mental point of view, I like to think of it as if you go to a new city and you're familiar with those open top buses, right? Well, it's like I get on a worry bus,
Okay.
and I start my trip, and down this side of the road, there's, I'm getting old. And on the left, you can see, I don't know if this is the right thing I'm doing. And further down is, did I make the right decision about this? And the next one is, my front left tires are worn out. I'm going to have a blowout. And then, so it becomes sort of a tour, and I guess it's often called a carousel. So it's a worry storm.
Yeah. Okay. So it kind of gets out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you got, it's a fair amount of physical symptoms there then for you.
Yeah.
Is there a kind of orange light when you kind of go, okay, it's coming? Okay. Is there time for you to catch it?
I think this is actually, speaking with you, I think this is actually a skill I want to work on. Is actually noticing what takes me to that place, what the triggers might be. So I wouldn't say anything specifically. I mean, I get definitely my lower back pain. I start to get tightness in my hips, in my lower back, so my muscles are constricting. And it's all kind of explained by the fight or flight response. So your body is preparing you to fight or run, and that ancient part of your brain doesn't ask your opinion on whether this is actually a real threat.
Yeah.
So it kicks off, because if it did many years ago, you would have been dead. You know, if your brain was designed to actually say, okay, let's sit down and think about this. Is filling in this application form as similar as being chased with a spear? It'd be nice if my brain did that, but it doesn't. It just says, ah, and is off, basically.
Yes. And then it's good to have those kind of ways of going, okay, hang on now. I need to have a conversation with myself. Is this, is this life-threatening right now? No, it's not. Okay, well, what do I do then?
Exactly.
Because once we're on that carousel or on that bus that's kind of speeding,
right,
it's harder then, you know, to kind of engage that logical brain, then to kind of go, oh, what do I need to do now? Because then you're on it. And
then, you know, from a personal point of view, what happens then is I start to beat myself up for not being enlightened enough to move beyond this, or to not, you know, so then there's some self-loathing that comes in, which actually feeds the beast.
Of course. Yeah, no, because the beast is very clever in its ways of getting you in, yeah.
I guess I want to make sure I don't call it a beast or call it negative things. I know in reality these things are in place to protect me. They're just, they're not linked into anything real. So, you know, if you're scared of spiders or whatever, if something, okay, me filling in forms, I get or learning something new, I get that. But just fear of screwing up is very strong for me. Yeah, and it will kick off that anxiety. I'm sorry, I've lost my thread, so I'll stop.
No, that's fine. But yeah, no, of course. But then you know that one of those triggers for you is like, okay, I'm going to fill out a form. I know that this can kick stuff off.
Okay, yes.
How can I get that help or support, or how do I handle this, I guess?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for me, if I get to a place where I can believe it's okay to make a mistake, then the form would hold no fear. But fundamentally, that's why these things trigger me off, because I'm scared of making a mistake. Yeah. I'm scared of not being perfect, possibly. Which is ludicrous, but that's where I am.
Yeah. Well, ludicrous. We all have our, you know, things that we do exactly the same with.
Right.
You know, with the kind of, you know, we're so scared of doing something wrong with certain things. That failure, you know, looming over us. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for being so honest about, you know, what it's like for you and those triggers.
Yeah, sure. I mean, also, you know, I wake up most days with a lot of this carousel worry. And, you know, I think you're going to ask me about that, but it's something I live with. Yeah.
So it's a kind of daily thing for you.
Yeah. I'm really struggling with being successful.
Okay. So there's fear of success there and fear of failing.
Living the life that I dreamed of, I'm there now, and I think it's causing more anxiety than being a failure, or not a failure, but living a life that wasn't to my potential.
Yeah.
Small and safe.
And that's really interesting, and I think that's so helpful to actually talk about that, you know, so others can hear that, because I think that there's so many out there in the same situation. They might not have daily anxiety, you know, but still that kind of, wow, I've got it now. I'm living life of my dreams. Why am I not happy?
Am I worthy of it? You know?
Yes.
Is this real? You know, is there a grenade coming? Should I duck and cover? Should I be safe? You know, I'm not familiar with this living my potential nonsense. You know, I know what the other is like. Anyway, yeah. So, yes.
I know you read and listen to Brené Brown.
Yes, I love
and
it.
One of the things that she says is that we're choosing anxiety as a lifestyle.
Yes.
And one of the things that she talks about is that when you're a parent and you look down at your newborn baby and you just feel this immense joy the second after that, you kind of start worrying and panicking that something's going to happen to that baby.
Yeah.
So you don't allow yourself to be in that joy.
Exactly.
So how much do you kind of resonate with the thought that, or the theory that anxiety is chosen, is choosing a lifestyle?
I absolutely agree that that's something you can choose. Tiina, I'm ever so sorry. I plugged this laptop in. I didn't realise it wasn't plugged in.
Go and plug it in.
We'll be right back. This is
Yay!
Okay, let's see. All right, that was a good sound. So, yeah.
Yes, that was quick as well. Brilliant.
Okay, well, I've learned from a lot of different levels. The reptilian brain, the ancient part of our brain, through reading and listening to people, likes familiarity. It likes the same thing again and again. And you can talk about the channels in your mind for certain thoughts and behaviors become developed, and the mind likes to continue to travel down those. So yes, I think you can choose it because it's familiar. You might not enjoy it, but it's what you're used to. So absolutely, yeah. And the mind, I mean, these are just things I've learned, but in a time where we were potentially in real danger, and we had to make very quick decisions, the brain had to be scanning. It needed to be aware of what was going on all the time. So I think it can be almost like a bit of a narcotic to, like, oh, I must check my Facebook, and I must look at this, and what about that, and I've got to run around, and am I doing enough, and am I being a good enough parent, or shouldn't I be doing more with my life? Should I be doing yoga? But I've got to rush to get to yoga, so when I get there, I'm more stressed than if I stayed home. So I don't know if I've answered your question, but absolutely, it can become as much of an addiction as digestive biscuits or smoking or alcohol. It's your fuel. And I know Brené Brown talks about that in our Western culture, exhaustion is seen like a badge of honor.
Yes.
Oh, poor me, I had to work so hard, and oh God, but you just keep doing it, like keep feeding the beast. So yeah, in our culture, it's kind of, in certain jobs, you're revered for being exhausted and for, pushing your personal side of life, your kids aside, your partner. That's what it takes to be, really competitive. And in the US, I had an experience. I was a self-employed truck driver, and I worked 14 to 16-hour days.
Ooh.
Yeah, and and on the weekend I drank, and in the evenings, just to sort of numb myself out, because I wasn't interested really being present in my life. It was make money, which also in the Western culture, making lots of money, which I did. Also, you've got prestige, you've got power that you can go buy things. The hilarious thing, of course, is in the time of my life I made the most money, I was also the most unhappy and the most in debt. I made a lot of money, and I still managed to spend a lot more on crap I didn't need.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, absolutely. I think culturally we celebrate some pretty weird stuff, and which feeds into stress and anxiety very much. Dan, amazingly enough, we have spoken for 15 minutes already. And that kind of brings us to the end of this episode of Illuminations. Is there just briefly something very quickly that you'd like to share with others who might be experiencing daily anxiety, of, you know, how you handle it, what you do? Is there something that really helps you that could be a really good nugget for others?
I've found that meditation has helped me, because most of my worry comes from thinking about the future or the past. And if I can pull myself into the now, by noticing my breathing, the sounds around me, my physical body, where the tension is, that's really helpful. I think you have to find what works for you. I used to do loads of skating, roller skating.
Okay.
That had a beautiful, peaceful effect. Music. Recently, I thought probably the thing that would be most helpful is to draw on things you loved as a child, but now for some reason an adult, you think you can't do. Whether it's singing, whether it's drawing, play, some form of play. You know, children laugh. Us adults, we don't do a lot of that. Well, I speak for myself, I don't do nearly enough of it. I've been doing Qigong, which is similar to Tai Chi. It's very slow movements. So it's like moving meditation. It's what the old Chinese folks do in the big squares, you know, every morning. I like making pasta because I like making things for people. I think anything that can draw you into the moment and stop you thinking about the made-up crap that you've got in your mind about the future, which is unknown anyway.
Yeah.
About the past, which is gone.
Brilliant. I really love that one about playing, you know, drawing from your childhood, what you love doing then, and doing it again. I think that's beautiful. So
when did you stop to think?
I don't know.
Who told us that, oh, well, put away childish things? No. You know, I enjoy, yeah, I don't want to go on, but I had thought that recently, that why can't we do what brought us joy as a child?
Yeah. No, why not?
Yeah.
Let's start a revolution.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Dan, for being so open and so honest about what anxiety is for you. And I think that just by being open, you know, we help other people to also be open. And if we all can just talk about it a bit more, I think we're kind of making headway.
I agree. I think isolation and shame is what drives these things even more, and not feeling understood. And not, you know, not everybody in your family or your circle of friends is going to be willing to accept this, you know. So, if hopefully if somebody can connect with it, you're feeling alone, feeling, beating yourself up for it. You know, it's an epidemic. Horrible word, but so many people are experiencing this and just suffering in silence.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, to our audience, please do leave a comment if you yourself have great strategies of how to deal with anxiety. Share with others. And thank you very much for watching. And Dan, I'll see you.
It's a pleasure, Tiina. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye.